Hi, and welcome to this video about SolidThinking Compose. In this video we will take a look at functions. Functions are used to stack together a bunch of code lines which belong together. They are also characterized by some input values, output values, and function which happens in between. Let's get to it. I have a new Compose video here, a Compose window here, and this file function tests OML I created earlier. So we have to create a file, and today we are going to be operating in this file editor, not so much in the OML command window. So to define a function, you first have to use the keyword function, and then you have to give the parameter, which is the output parameter, a name, for example out, then an equal sign, and now the function name, for example my function. Now you have the brackets, and in the brackets you have your input variable, for example my number. Now you hit enter and notice how the cursor position changed here. Now here you input the function, and when the function is completely stated, you just write this end keyword to describe that the function is finished there. So for example, if you have a certain math operation which you have to apply to a whole lot of different numbers, you could use a function for that, and we are using a function right now for this. For example, I want the output parameter to be the square root of the number times 2 plus 10. Now, this would be a function. I hit the semicolon here to suppress the output, and I hit save now, and I run this file, because now I'm able to use this function, whether I'm in the file itself or in the OML command window. For example, here I could say, I want this function, my function, and you can see it's suggested right here, and I want to do it on an input variable of 2. Now I see for 2 I get this result. Now this is a function which is only dependent on one input parameter. We also could specify a function which has several input parameters. Let's do that now. For example, the division, which has a numerator and a denominator, could be also a function. For example, here, function out equals my division, and we have the numerator and the denominator. So you can see the different variables for the input is separated with this the semicolon. Yeah. Now let's input the function. For example, here you could say out equals numerator divided by denominator. Suppress the output and hit the end keyword. You have to run the file again. So save it, run it. Now you can use it in the OML command window. And for this, I use my division from 2, 3. So 2 would be the numerator and 3 would be the denominator. And you can see it's 2/3, which is the correct answer. There's another way to define a multiple length of input variables, which uses a pre-built-in function within Compose. Let's use that now. For this, I copy the function for the division and just say the numerator and denominator would be now var argin. And var argin is a variable which is a bunch of variables. Var, variable length, arguments, and input. So you could see what's going on there. Now the numerator would be the first item which is stored in this array. So to get to this, I just say the numerator equals var argin. off, and now you have to use the braces. 1. So this is the first item, and the denominator equals var arg in, and the index in this case would be 2. And now let's test it, but now let's test it directly in the file. So for example, to get the same input or output as we did before in the OML command window, we could just simply say here my function 2. Then we could say my division of 2, 3. And now we have to give this second function a second name, or a different name. And so it's my division 2, for example. And here we have my division 2 of 2, 3. Should give the same output. To clear all items here before we start the function again, just say this simple expression CLC and clear all. So we have a fresh workspace, and now just save it and run it, and you can see we have the same number as before, and division 2 and the division, they have both the same results. So this works either that way or this way, how you like that. So thanks for watching. If you have questions, please feel free to ask, and I wish you all the best.